how good could they get? They feel like they could win the Big 12. They feel like they could be a playoff contending team, a playoff team, and a good one. And in this era, they might be able to be, whereas kind of a pipe dream before. And Coach Joey McGuire, longtime high school coach in Texas, great recruiter. And then they have their general manager, James Blanchard, who did such a good job on this class. Notre Dame wanted him to become their general manager. And I think the general manager thing is now going to be just, it's like, hey, the Eagles, they got Howie Roseman, right? That's how they're good. He's a better GM than most guys. And the GM is just going to be everything as it is at pro football level. But he, in this story, which I recommend people read, they talk about all the different things they do, and included to me, which was fascinating, they leave the scouting, much of the scouting, to their sources in the NFL. And they let the NFL guys, they get draft lists and stuff from the NFL, and they sit there and say, yeah, we have a 6th round grade on this guy or 7th round grade on this guy going forward. And they kind of just trust their friends in the NFL. So they're not wasting a gazillion hours watching tape. They are watching tape and they're getting it to the coaches. But the general manager staff is kind of targeting all these. Here are the good players in college football, wherever they are. Let the resourced rich NFL sort these guys out. And we follow that lead. And then they just put together info on everybody. Are they originally from Texas? Do they have family in Texas? Could they come? What are they doing? And they track them the whole year. Oh, the guy's got a high ankle sprain. He missed the last 6 weeks. Maybe he's going to. And they put together this list and to see once they hit the portal, they feel like at Texas Tech, they have to jump immediately. Get them in early. You got to be first, because if you're Texas, if you're the 14th call and you're Texas Tech, you might not get the call back. And they said 85% of what they do is a total waste of time, because the guy either doesn't go in the portal, would never come there, all this stuff. But they put in this massive amount of effort to get ready. And then these guys hit the portal and they pounce.
You could spend so much time, right, wasting on film. And if you're able to go to certain sources like those in the NFL and get a quicker read on it, that is really fascinating. And there's one thing Joey McGuire is, and that is aggressive when it comes to recruiting. And they have made that a number one priority. And hey, in the Big 12, right, there's more parity than any other power league. There's no real big dogs. There's no real little dogs. They're all kind of even. The league, as was evident this past season, is up for grabs, and so there's no reason to think that Texas Tech can't win it all there.
Yeah, they've got like this. This has the elements of your classic Texas driver story. You got a billionaire who cares deeply about football at his alma mater and wants to win. You've got all the players in Texas. You've got a coach and a general fan base who are like, they're on the way up, but this is like, they realize the urgency is there. You've got a conference where you can be upwardly mobile. TCU did it. SMU did it. I think Texas Tech saying, hell yeah, it's our turn. Why not? The big thing is you've got the ambition, the wherewithal, and you've got that one booster who really doesn't care how much of his money he spends, like the guy that basically bought SMU into the ACC. So you've got a lot of the elements there. We'll see. Joey McGuire, I thought in the story, kind of basically said this is make or break for us and basically for him. That they've kind of got to make a big push this year.
Well, there's a lot of that this year. I think a lot of the ones schools I named that we heard spent a lot of money in the portal and were the most aggressive all have coaches going into a season that's very important. Joey might not be as much of a pressure cooker as some of these others, but Hugh Freeze at Auburn, Billy Napier at Florida, all those were really aggressive in the portal, and for good reason. This is kind of it going into this season.
It's interesting because in the past you would have this Joey McGuire's job security is, I would think, very good, but opposed to those other guys. But it used to be, all right, we're going to bring a guy back one more year. And you were kind of hoping, like, generally speaking, once the slide used to happen, it was over. But now you maybe can rally. It kind of adds this element where there wasn't a whole bunch of, a school like Auburn, a school like Florida, a school like you mentioned, those fans would be going to the season like, oh, man, like, we'll see. Wasn't a lot of hope. But now you can sit there and say, all right, let's see if we can bounce back. And so it kind of adds a bit to it. Yeah. On some of the stuff, Blanchard, who I found particularly interesting in here, this was his NFL thing. He says 90% of the work is collecting information. He puts big emphasis on feedback from pro scouting contacts and closely monitors every player who has NFL grades going into the season. So they pair their list that way. You might watch tape and be like, the NFL likes this guy. I don't really like him. Listen, they got way more information than we do. So take the ego out of it. If the NFL is saying this is a 6th or 7th round draft pick, let's lean towards the guys who do this all the time. Let's have an advantage. And then he said, I'd say 85% of it is a waste of time because most of them stayed or went to the draft. But that 15% that wasn't a waste, man, we executed on it. We were proactive. We already had grades on guys, already had everything we needed done. There's maybe a surprise here or there, but come December, we've been talking about these guys for what felt like 5 or 6 months. I guess obviously the scouting is a big deal. And Saban did this. Go back to Saban's program. He had all these analysts and they were very good at picking their players. But I just think this is these scouting departments are going to be like the NFL. They're as big or bigger than the coaching staffs.
Sure. I think, that's been an evolution and probably will even accelerate now. You have a staff to coach and you have a staff to do nothing but figure out who your next crop of players is going to be, whether it's college or high school, and perhaps even different staffs to a degree for that. Some that are just scouting college and some that are scouting high school. So, as long as we have the incredibly transient nature of player procurement coming and going, then I think that's going to be hugely important. So that these people, as much as we talk about potential cost containment, that sort of thing, staffs are not being contained. That's for sure.